Challenge. For the launch of the new Veloster, Hyundai wanted to engage the young creative class through their passion for music. Insight. As young artists, this audience is inspired by original creative ideas. Solution. Rather than licensed music, we created it by challenging some of the world's top DJs to make an original soundtrack and then documented the process.
There's not a sound that we can't make, there's not a beat that we can't create, there's not an artist we can't record. Now what?
I like that. I like that.
I'd rather just do it my way.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
We created the Regeneration Music Project, a soundtrack and feature documentary that challenged 5 of the world's top DJs to reimagine traditional genres of music. These star-studded collaborations took artists outside their comfort zones, working in unfamiliar genres and with a host of legendary artists.
I had to learn a genre of music that I'm not that familiar with. It was just a learning experience all the way across the board.
More than just a soundtrack, the Regeneration Music Project gave our audience a unique window into the creative process and a role in the production itself. A series of webisodes took viewers behind the scenes by following 5 young creators working on the film.
Working in Regeneration has been a really amazing experience. Music is a big part of my life. I don't play guitar, I don't sing, but as a manager's assistant, I get to be part of the process, which is really important to me.
This documentary is really speaking to a big change in music that I don't think a lot of people are necessarily tuning into.
DJ Premier is incredible. He wants me to see what really goes on behind the scenes. Not a lot of people get to see that.
With the Regeneration Music Project, Hyundai sparked a new creative conversation.
So tell us about the documentary that you're a part of. It's called Regeneration, right?
Our next guest is a Grammy Award-winning producer featured in the upcoming music documentary Regeneration.
Hyundai Veloster presents Regeneration.
Became part of music culture with its original music videos and chart-topping soundtrack, reached audiences across the country with a nationwide theatrical release, gave the creative class the tools to participate, and earn media on a massive scale. And most importantly, the Regeneration Music Project became part of the culture and captured the imaginations of the young creative class.
It's revolutionary, it really is.
Everyone's loving it. Look at the crowd out here, man. It's the youth, it's the future.
I'm Jason Bentley, and we're here at the world-famous Grauman's Chinese Theater for the world premiere of the Regeneration Music Project.
I've always been a fan of reinventing old music.
To bring classical music and hip-hop music together, and the chance to work with DJ Premier, of course, was a really attractive thing.
And to be put into a position where I have to learn a genre of music that I'm not that familiar with was just a learning experience all the way across the board.
I just wanted to make a song with the Doors, really.
My son is interested in my generation's music, and then he turns me on to the future, electronic music.
Electronic music is just so big right now. Skrillex is blowing up. So yeah, the timing was absolutely perfect.
What I'm all about is taking old music and making it new and fresh. They turned it into a movie, so, it only made sense that I was part of it.
I knew that it was going to be unlikely that she would just say, this is a piece of shit and go screaming in the other direction. But I think that also it is a different kind of style than things that I've necessarily heard her do in the past. So I wasn't 100% sure that she would dig it. think?
I'm nervous.
Mark, I want to start with you because you drew the fact that you were going to do a jazz track. What was your first thought? Were you excited by that? Were you intimidated by that?
Yeah, I mean, everything that we do, especially when I work with the Dap Kings and the band, like, it's obviously all influenced from jazz. It all comes from that lineage. But usually, I guess it's more like it's funk and it's soul and it's hip-hop. So I'd never done anything that was really purely, from a rhythmic standpoint, it's kind of something jazz. And, you know, obviously having Ziggy playing the drums, he sort of laid the blueprint for all of us. Like, the beats that he played are pretty much the DNA and backbone of hip-hop.
Ziggy, you're so legendary, you know, with the meters and everything else you've done. Why did you want to do this project?
Well, actually, when Mark first mentioned it to me, I didn't know about Erykah was going to be involved. So it was a double whammy for me because when I found out she was involved, I was super excited about the whole deal. I was just a little bit on edge about the project because I really wanted it to be perfect for him as well as for all of us. So, you know, once we ran through the rehearsal part of it once or twice, I began to feel, you know, the ism in it all. It sounded like it was going to just work out just great, and it did.
Erykah, there's a scene where you come in and Mark is playing the track for you, and you look a little pensive, like you're not really sure it's going to work out. Was that true? What was going through your head?
I felt like, what did I do to deserve this? It was a wonderful track, went from the first note, and I felt comfortable because like Zig was saying, I was a little nervous too because they only gave us a very small amount of time to, you know, adjust. And in my case, I had to write words to the piece, and it was so good.
We see you, what it looked like to me was like your antenna was up and you were just trolling, scanning the skies for the idea to come to you. Like,
Yeah.
What is that like? It was fascinating seeing your process. Like, do you know instantly when you've got it?
No, I don't know. I was definitely searching for satellite signal for, you know, from the moment I walked in the room. And I had a conversation with Trombone Shawty as he was leaving. And he was like, what you gonna get into later? I was like, I don't know, what you gonna do? He said, I'm gonna go give me some gumbo. I said, aha, aha, aha.
Aha.
Aha. That is what I'm going to say about.
Bounce a gal act like a yo gal. Bounce a gal can't chat to yo gal. Bounce a gal 'cause everything brand new gal. Some girls say them a hot gal and them have them one face. Hot gal want them and not that face. Some a hot gal and straight going on their face. Some a hot gal and them kill them on their face. Some a hot gal and them have a blood fast here. Some a hot gal and them on them a share. Some a hot gal and them have them career. Some a hot gal and them kill them receive their fun.
My name is Chaz. I am a manager's assistant, and I do day-to-day duties for all the artists that I work with. Just kind of running the show behind the scenes, if you will. I am on my way to Masterpiece Studios in Detroit, Michigan to meet up with Ken and Scott of Crystal Method. Working on Regeneration has been great. To be able to be in the studio with the guys and Martha Reeves, it's been inspiring. It's like a history lesson.
We want to find something that matches the horns a little bit.
Okay.
There's a couple places. Al, where's that?
Well, there's one record shop on what we're called Vintage Records.
Vintage Records. Yeah. So if you have any, just give us a call if you have any questions.
Yeah, for sure. I believe I'm going on a journey today to find them some Motown records. Yeah, let's just go with the New York one for now.
I will get in touch with her, then I'll let you know.
All right, thank you. I'm not from Detroit, so this is the birthplace of Motown. I'm sure they've got some pretty epic record stores here.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Good. I'm looking for something with a great horn section in it.
Make it about $80.
Deal. Music is a big part of my life. I don't play guitar, I don't sing, but as a manager's assistant, I get to be part of the process, which is really important to me. So we hit up about 3 record stores today.
Cool.
And I know you guys had some requests, and I think we found some pretty sweet stuff.
Yeah.
There's some Martha Reeves records.
Oh, yeah.
Got the greatest hits.
Thanks, Chaz.
No problem, man.
Picking that up later.
Glad we got it done.
All right.
That's what I feel like I'm good at, is taking things that weren't intended to go together, and that's what then creates something new.
There's not a sound that we can't make, there's not a beat that we can't create, there's not an artist we can't record. Now what?
So I want to begin by asking both of you, what was sort of your reaction when you got asked to be a part of this project? What was sort of your reaction to the project, and then going about sort of doing the research you needed to do about the musical genre?
I was a little skeptical at first, and that's exactly what it took, was research to figure out that there was a way in which I could visualize myself creating a track that I would be proud of and feel really good about, but would still embrace the concept behind the film, which was to combine my style with a completely foreign genre.
I thought it was a cool project just because it took so many different artists and made them almost completely uncomfortable in so many ways, which is, we all get so into our own thing, and it's so, when someone asks you to step outside the box, it's interesting how some people react, and I didn't know much about Derek, and I did my research on Derek and fell in love with his music. I'm a huge house fan, and all my friends were like, Pretty Lights, love Pretty Lights. I'm like, oh my god, I don't even, I haven't heard of Derek. So I love, my last album, Lady and Gentleman, dug back into that old school style of country music. He definitely embraces the older school style of music and makes it his own and brings it to a new generation of fans. So I think we had a lot in common. And I jumped at the chance because I think we both kind of we didn't know what was going to happen when we walked in with each other. But I kind of let go of who I was, which was great. And he became like a director in a way. And I became basically a voice, which was really fun to just not be me for a little while.
I love the moment in the film where Trombone Shorty, based on what his stomach was craving for, inspired the song and the lyrics. Could you talk about where musical inspiration comes from, sort of the odd places it comes from sometimes, and how it can inspire you to create something different?
With this particular song, there was a moment when Trombone Shorty and I were saying our goodbyes. He was like, what you getting into later? I don't know, what about you? He said, I think I'm going to get some gumbo. I was like, aha. Ding. I wrote that down. Thank you. And all of the things started to flow after that. But I've never worked with the Dap Kings and the selected musicians from the Dap Kings, particularly, that were involved. And everybody just had this funk. Everybody in the room was funky. Everybody. And everybody just put in this bowl a piece of their thing, you know. The rice is the main ingredient of the gumbo that was marked. The rhythm of it, or the beat, or the heartbeat is like the flavor. That was Ziggy. The Dap King, the different ingredients that make the gumbo hearty. And I put my foot in it.
To kind of stir it all up.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Most definitely came and added the Cajun spice.
He's right, the spice, of course. Yeah. Oh, that's a wonderful analogy. And tell me about meeting Martha Reeves and touring Detroit with you. And it's an amazing moment when she sees this old building that she used to perform in be torn down.
It's a beautiful location, right on the water. I mean, it's a gorgeous building, all granite on the outside. It was just, you know, it was like, and I guess after many years of running into dead ends, that it was finally the moment when it was coming down, and so they'd all just happened to, you know, fall into place for our visit, and you know, you could see when Martha that there was like a lot of that coming out, a lot of the years of trying to save this building. There was no going back. This building was coming down. She still walks around that town with pride, and people love her, and it's really, and she loves living there. She's ambassador to the town, and she's Queen Martha. She's Miss Martha. But kids wave, and strangers hug her, and it's like, that's, you know, a powerful thing that you know that we should get across in that song. So, and I think we ended up getting there.
This project and this process sort of says about music and the longevity of all different sort of genres of music.
We're really happy with the song. We think it's one of the best things we've ever done. So we're super pleased with the song, and I think it, you know, it says that music is music is music. I mean, music is not one thing that you can pigeonhole or put into a box. I mean, music, electronic music can work with all these different genres. And so I think that was one of the key elements or themes of the film, you know, that electronic music draws on all of these different genres, and all these other genres work well with electronic music.
My name is Kat Brown, and I'm a PA on Regeneration the movie. A PA is the spare pair of hands on a set. Right now, it's perfect for me because I love the freedom of not being tied to a desk. This is my dog, George Harrison. He comes absolutely everywhere with me. Hello?
Hi, could you get like 15 coffees, about a dozen donuts, and some bagels?
My goal as a PA is to get from A to B as efficiently as possible. And in LA, it's a lot of navigating. There's no possible way you can figure it out on your own. So I need to have a really, really good navigation system.
Connecting to Hyundai Blue Link. Please say the name of the service.
Coffee.
Starting search.
I need to order 15 coffees. 15. New destination. Today, being production assistant meant lots and lots of errands. Loading, unloading, packing up, making sure that everything was accountable for, and doing everything and anything anybody needs. So it's exciting because you get to work with really creative people who are the best at what they do. You know, on this one I met Skrillex, which is amazing. Working on a film like Regeneration is a really amazing experience, especially when you see the finished film for the first time. It's like, I was a part of this. I helped make this happen. That's what makes the whole thing worthwhile.
For this project, what was fascinating was the first time you come in the room, you look at Skrillex and call him Sonny, his real name, and you are really skeptical of the whole enterprise. What was going through your head, and why were you so hesitant?
Drummers pride themselves on the groove. That you have to get down. Then you can do all the flashy stuff. And if a machine is providing the electronic groove, what is that? You know, where's the humanity? What relieved me was that Skrillex was a musician before he got into all these wires and plugs and knobs. And so he understands that, you know, combining the two, putting the human and the electronic together, you get best of both. So
When did you realize this kid's okay?
Oh, I realized the kid was okay when I told the cameras to leave the room, thank you, because I wanted to hear the cut and talk about the overdubs, you know, hand drum, doombeck, maracas, and whether we were together on that. And I didn't want to go like this with the camera on. So after our little powwow with the cameras off, I was totally comfortable with what he was doing.
What did you learn from him?
To be open, because at first I was like, eh. And you know, I'll give you a story. Back a ways, quite a ways, Jay-Z asked us to sample 5 to 1 on Takeover. You know, hip-hop rap was just coming up, and I was like, what is this misogynist bling stuff? And he sent me a T-shirt, a basketball jersey with Rockefeller, and a letter explaining how what they were trying to do is what we were trying to do in the 60s, you know, talk about social change. And I went, wow. And I got educated, you know. And maybe I'm ahead of the curve on this film because, as I say, I'm here to be educated. And so Skrillex has opened me to this whole new world.
You guys get asked for your music to be used all the time. What is your guideline? Because you guys hold out way, way, way more than you say yes, obviously.
Well, I'm the main spoiler in that area. You know, a long time ago, Jim Morrison kind of blew up at us because we were considering Come On Buick, Light My Fire. Oh, God. Because the dough looked good and we were young. And Jim didn't really primarily write that song. And I thought, God, he cares about the catalog, what we represent in general, the whole thing, and he's dead, and I'm not. So I'm not going to forget that.
Tell me about what projects you have coming up.
I have another self-centered memoir. It's a bit dark. It's called The Doors Unhinged. It's about our struggles with the name and stuff.
Skrillex, if I could hit you real quick, Sonny, just as a starting point, congratulations on your Grammy nominations. That's an amazing showing. Where were you when you first heard about the nominations?
I was on my tour bus sleeping on my bunk in Bristol in the UK. And like my tour manager, he's got this big beard and like tattoos and stuff. I'm sleeping and he opens the bunk and he's like, rah! And I'm like, oh my God. I got up on my bunk, like freaked out. He's like, you got a Grammy nomination. And I was so tired. So I was like, cool. And I thought it was a dream. Then I woke up like 3 hours later and he goes, rah! You got 5. I'm like, it was crazy. Yeah, I mean, like, I didn't get to, like, I don't even think I've fully reflected on what that means yet.
Yeah.
Right now, but.
I told you not to do anything interesting when we weren't rolling cameras. Now
Exactly.
look at you.
Now it's all out, yeah.
Well, we're also happy for you, and it's going to be an amazing night on the Grammys. But to go further now with you on this project, talk about how you came on board and why you chose the Doors to collaborate with.
Well, I mean, it was at first it was Richard Bishop, you know, who contacted me and my manager Tim, and you know, presented this whole idea. And then it was actually obviously first you guys were involved in Premiere and Pretty Lights, and it was Mark Ronson. Yeah. And like it was a really cool idea, and the whole thing with me was like in the beginning the Doors thing was up in the air, and I was nervous to like commit to something if I didn't feel like I'd have a real connection with it. And that was like in my heart, my real pick, you know, because of course you have a wish list of a certain amount of people because you don't know who's gonna be able to show up or not. And that was the most personal and special thing to me was the Doors, because I grew up listening to, you know, the first recollection of anything musical was the Doors in my life. So it was cool to like come full circle and actually have that a reality. So, you know, that was the main thing.
It's interesting because it really comes through in the film that, I don't know if it's your personality or, you know, just that you have a gift as a producer, but it seemed like it was almost effortless, like you really got on with them right away.
Well, I mean, hopefully, like any collaboration I've ever done has been like, you know, you have to have trust and faith in the person you're collaborating with, because, you know, music is a real intimate thing, and if you're doing it with someone else, then you have to have trust in that other person and or the other artist or group, and hopefully the other artist and group has trust and faith in you, and it's you consult with each other, you know, rather than having someone that's babysitting you or the other way around. I don't want to do a collaboration if I'm telling someone what to do and vice versa, but if you can be vulnerable for a second and sit back and let them do what they do, and then vice versa, those are the most special products in the end of the day. So that's what exactly what happened with.
Well, you know,
guys.
also you're kind of dealing with all the drama of that band, because I noticed they came on separate days, 2 members of the Doors, and then John Densmore came the next day. And there's an interesting moment in the film where you're very straight up with, I believe it's John Densmore, and you're like, listen, I don't want to do this if you don't want to do this. You know, you're very honest about the process with him.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't do anything if I don't want to do it, you know, so. And I don't want to do anything with anybody else if they don't want to do it either. And, like, there's a whole documentary behind this and cameras and all that stuff, but, like, you know, and I think, which I, you know, faith of the whole production team, which is an amazing team and did a great job, you know, all that aside, it's like at the end of the day, let's make a great record, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, and I told him, like, get the cameras out of the room for a second, let's talk about this, like, let's do a great record. I think we can do something awesome. I think John's thing in the beginning is you know, electronic music, you know, which he is actually very familiar with more than I thought. Is a lot of times drummers have reservations about doing stuff because it's, you know, but we got incredible tracks out of the drums and did a really cool thing.
Well, also, how many years had it been since really they had come together on a track?
30 years since American Prayer, I believe, yeah.
It's 30 years.
I didn't know that, though, until afterwards. I'm glad I didn't, because I would have, like, felt like there was some pressure.
Well, you know, it really feels like from the film that you enjoyed the process, and it was, you know, terrific results. And Skrillex, I feel like there's rock in what you do. But DJ Premier, you took on the classical world and really challenged yourself on a whole other level with this project.
Yeah.
Why did you choose the classical world, and were you ever sorry that you did?
Well, once again, shout out to Richard Bishop, shout out to my manager Fat Gary. When they brought the idea to me, I was, you know, once they told me who else was involved, because my manager knows I'm very picky about what I step into, because I'm very, very, very protective of my image and my reputation. And in the hip hop world, I'm a god, and I've already established my stripes. But in the classical world, I've sampled classical music, but not with the respect that I give it now, because me, when I sample stuff, I'm looking for stuff that just does not sound normal. And I'm like, I could take that abnormal sound and put an ill beat to it and make the proper MC spit and do what they do. But with this, when he said Skrillex, Mark Ronson, Crystal Method, you know, Pretty Lights, and just the whole, the involvement, Erykah Badu and everybody, I was like, I'm a challenge. I like challenges, and I like stuff that I'm not used to, because in the hip hop world, I'm gonna always do it the way I do it. But when it comes to, and he's saying, oh yeah, you're gonna get a tutor, and I'm like, a tutor? You know. And,
was there ever a moment where you're like, I don't know what I got myself into right now?
Yeah. Gary doesn't know this, but he knows it now. After I hung up the phone, because we did a conference call with Amir, and Amir didn't even know that he was about to get on the conference call with me, because I think you had just landed in town or something. Yeah. And they told him, yeah, you're going on with DJ Premier on a conference call in 5 minutes, and he's like, I am? You know, so when we got on the call and everything, I'm like, yeah, I'm with it. Oh yeah, it's gonna be dope, And as soon as I hung up the phone, I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Because again, I have to keep my name on a certain level of the playing field, because I care about my audience, and I will always make sure my audience is happy because they're supporting me so I can get a house, get cars, take care of my family, buy my mother a mink coat, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? So, and believe me, I'm from Texas. It's not cold like it is in New York, so she doesn't really need a mink, but she got one anyway. But it's, you know, again, at the end of the day, I've always taken my career seriously, so I started doing my research. And this is prior to meeting Bruce, Adolph. It's Adolph, right? Because we always toy with his last name. Bruce is my tutor, who comes from Juilliard, and he works at the Brooklyn Conservatory School of Music. That's where it all started, with me linking up with him. And once I met Bruce, he actually took the nervousness out of me, of wondering what the fuck am I doing? You know what I'm saying? So once you could tell he was really passionate about classical music, and he reminded me of the hip hop world because he was like, we don't like calling it classical. You know, he said that's like putting it in a box. In hip hop, we're the same way. It's like, yo, don't call me nothing. I'm a hip hop. I'm part of the culture. You either know it or you don't. And so that made me even open up more to him, to what he's trying to explain to me on how to listen to it a different way. Once he told me that, now I want to go to an opera. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't wait to go to an opera with Bruce, just to even go deeper into understanding the knowledge of classical music.
Music, definitely.
And then when they told me that I was going to recreate whatever I wanted from scratch, and then the Berklee College of Music is going to jump in and fill in all the blanks.
Yeah.
And then we're going to replay that. And then they were talking about, let's get an MC to rap on it.
What I love about music is just the feeling you get. It moves you. It's just something I've always loved. I started out as a DJ, but you know, I got into making beats. I want to be a producer. My name is Jeff Ladd. I'm DJ Premier's assistant / studio engineer. I have many duties: turning on all the boards, setting up mics, program the beats on the drum machine, just setting up shop. But yeah, working for DJ Premier is incredible. I mean, I've been a fan of him since 10 years old. He was like my idol. We talk music, we talk beats, like, you know, DJing, whatever. Prem introduced me to the road test. Every car sounds different. It's a good level tester. Blast it, check it out, making sure everything sounds good. If not, come back, do what you gotta do. New York City is definitely inspiring. First of all, hip hop was born here. You know, it's where it all started. I've learned a lot of stuff from him, definitely. He wants me to see what really goes on behind the scenes. Not a lot of people get to see that. So to have him compliment me and co-sign me, that's all the inspiration I need.